We visited Ballymahon GAA Club on a warm sunny evening in mid-September. This time last year, Ballymahon were preparing for an intermediate final. A year on, and they are fighting for survival in the senior championship. The departure of former county player Kevin Diffley to Kilcock and retirements of key players like Mark Connor, James Kenny and Emmett Finn must have had a big impact on the team's talent pool. The fact that they now have a young team suggests they are in a rebuilding phase and their primary goal is to avoid relegation from the senior championship.
Christy, a tough year. We were probably expecting it, but was it tougher than you actually thought it would be?
Indeed, it was quite tough, and yes, probably a little bit tougher than we thought, although we probably had ambition at the beginning of the year, but unfortunately it didn't pan out that way. I suppose the step up to senior is tough. We have a very young team. I suppose we were in a lot of ways ill-equipped to take on particularly the physicality of the senior football, and I suppose that's something we have to work on over the winter and ensure that we're in a better position next year, regardless of whether it's intermediate or senior we're playing. I think there's a big gap. I think personally, particularly the upper end of the senior clubs, they're certainly stronger, much stronger than the intermediate teams. I think apart from the physicality, I suppose it's quicker, it's faster game. You get less opportunity to dwell on the ball and that sort of stuff, and it's stuff we have to probably to learn more from.
Christy, I know you didn't offer any reasons as to why it may not have turned out the way you wanted to, but I do believe that you've lost a fair few players from last year.
Yeah, we lost about 7 players from the team that won the intermediate championship last year. We've also a lot of injuries this year, particularly at the moment we have about 6 or 7 players out injured. So when you put it all together, it's made it pretty difficult for the year for us. However, we're at the development stage of the team, a lot of young players coming through, and even though they don't see it now, I think that as the year progresses and we go into next year, they will have seen the benefit of competing at that level and also of what is required to stay competitive at that level.
Dara, around this time last year you were getting ready for the intermediate final, and a couple of weeks after that you were through to the Leinsters, and I was interviewing you then about your success, so you're on a bit of a roll. So how has the season gone for you since then?
A lot different than how it went last year. Last year was all about winning, all about going to the final. This year is more about trying to stay up, and still have the chance to stay up, but it's a lot more tough this year. Big step up in senior, but we've a young team and we're building.
Exactly, yeah. And was it as tough as you expected, or I know you had a few issues with players leaving the team and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of injuries, but all of those sort of things didn't help, I'm sure.
No, the jump between intermediate and senior in Longford is massive, so the step up was unreal. We lost a good few of the older boys last year after the final, and this year we didn't get to look with injuries, didn't fall our way.
Yeah.
So it all kind of stacked against us. But
very good. Philip, going into the season after the success of last year, I know, what were your ambitions?
This year our ambitions was to win Division 2 and hold our senior status. It's been a tough year for us, to be honest. There has been a good few injuries. We're very young. We're only average age is 21.8 off the starting 15, so we're up against it. Losing Diff and losing James and Emmett was a huge loss from the team last year. And for the younger lads to pick up that mantle was very hard. Division 2 was okay. We had some good results, some bad results. Senior football has been a huge eye-opener for me as a coach, but also as the players themselves. I don't think they realised the step they had to make. But yeah, learn from your lessons, and it's been harsh lessons this year, but I think it's going to benefit them going forward to realise if we stay up, what it will entail next year to be playing senior football.
Yeah, earlier in the week I was over in Gran, I was talking to Eamon Scanlon, the chairman over there, and I was asking Eamon about, intermediate and then senior, and what he was saying is that they found exactly what you're saying. The step up is huge, but they had to keep going at it, and eventually you know, they're there or thereabouts now for the last year or so. So I presume it really is, it's a sort of a cycle you have to go through.
It's a learning curve, definitely, and it's a huge learning curve for them. They have to learn quickly. Talking to Paul Lynch, from the manager of the Granor team, after the game we played this year, he said it's they have to learn fast. He said they don't have time to think. So I'm hoping this year what they've learned out of it will definitely benefit them going forward in the next number of years, and hopefully they keep their senior status towards the end of this year, either against Abbey or whoever we play on the opposite.
We're going to die with our boots on anyway.
Chrissy, thanks very much and good luck. Ciara, do you want to say a few